wants to garden easier. So what are some tips and tricks that help you get the garden you want without having to spend hours of your time that you don't want to be spending there and getting frustrated because your plants are dying and you're having to keep up with getting rid of squash bugs or potato bugs or whatever else is attacking your garden? Hi, I'm Lauren Kane and I'm the founder of Elm Dirt, and I recently wrote a blog post about no-dig gardening. And a lot of people, they don't know about no-dig gardening. Every year they'll turn up the soil and they'll freshen up and they think they're doing their plants a good thing because they're loosening that soil and making it easier for the roots to grow. Unfortunately, they're also doing a lot of bad things. So when you break up that soil, you're also breaking up mycorrhizal fungi networks, which help transport nutrients and water across various wide ranges of area, even deeper into the soil than your plant's roots reach, which makes it easier for them to survive in drought conditions. And when you break them up, it takes years for those networks to grow back. The other thing you're doing when you're tilling your soil and you're getting it all broken up is you're actually bringing weeds that have been buried underneath the surface back up to the surface, and where they can sprout and crowd out your plants and cause you lots of headaches later in the year. So if you are ready to start gardening easier, what you're going to want to do is you're not going to want to dig up your soil this year. Don't till it. Don't use your rake in it. Keep it as is. What you're going to do is you're going to add layers on top. So what you want to do is you want to start with a layer of cardboard, and then you're going to add a layer of greens. And so this can be grass clippings, it can be any green leaves, it can also be food waste from your kitchen, as long as it's not like meat or dairy or something that's going to attract critters that are going to dig up your soil that you don't want them to do. You can put that down, and then you're going to put a layer of browns on top of them. So that's dead leaves, that's sticks, that's anything that's going to cover it up and eventually break down, kind of a filler. It can also be coco coir if you are purchasing from a store. That helps keep bugs out of the food waste or the greens as they're decomposing. It also helps keep the smell down, helps add in a layer of compost too, because every traditional compost needs a layer of browns and greens to make decomposition work. And then on top of that, that's where you're going to add a layer of worm castings and finished compost. So worm castings really have a lot of benefits that traditional compost does not. But adding them together really kind of gets the best of both worlds and makes it really nice. So the ideal time to do this is actually in the fall, after you've done gardening and you're putting your beds to rest. You're going to want to add these layers on top so that over the winter, those especially greens and browns layers can really break down and all the good fungi can start working into those networks and into those layers by the time you get to spring. However, if you are starting in the spring, like it is right now, what you're going to want to do is, it's not too late. Trust me, it's not too late for anything. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add more layers. You're going to want to add in a higher layer of compost and worm castings into it. So you want to make that at least 6 to 8 inches deep if you're doing this in the spring. You can still add the greens and browns and everything below that, but what you want is that compost layer to be deep enough for roots to go into it without getting down to the decomposing layers. So getting into that greens may end up burning the plant roots because as they decompose, they heat up and they turn into a point where they're not good for plants until they've finished composting. So you really want to keep that in mind as you're building up the layers, and give yourself enough of a buffer so that the compost can sit on top, the plant roots can grow through it. And if you keep adding on to this layer after layer, year after year, you're actually going to turn your garden soil into this magic that really helps you grow plants easier, because all those microbes, all those fungal networks, they're going to work with you to grow your plants better. They're going to help protect your plants because their lives depend on it too. And they're going to help block them out, help provide nutrients, help increase the plant's immune systems. There's so many cool things that soil microbiology does for your plants. And if you follow along with my YouTube channel or with my Instagram, you're going to learn a lot more about soil biology and what it can do for you, as well as how it makes your job as a gardener much easier.